Today we'll pull a card for some focused attention, message from the universe. Today brings us the red squirrel. Kind of a good timing given the fall element that's going on around us and our environment. The red squirrel brings resourcefulness, vigilance, preparation, and busyness. That element of busyness, we might be finding we are very busy right now. We might be finding we're not very busy right now. But tends to be, when we transition from summer to fall, this need to kind of get ready for winter. So whether that's physically moving objects in your space, or maybe it's an energetic moving. So we're moving into a space of what is it going to look like, especially right now with our COVID ideas. What will it look like as we move into this next phase, and how can we best prepare for what's coming? To have our relationships, phone calls, gathering spaces ready to move into, but also to give ourselves space and time to be in that solitude and the comfort within it. That it can feel lonely, or it can feel really at ease. So it rides both ends of our spectrum of being okay with that and also being okay at sitting in the uncomfortable. So we'll sit here for a moment with that idea of shifting, closing the eyes. Shifting can be our body weight, left to right, front to back as we sit. Shifting can simply be in our mindset. That we're more open to how things will look going forward, that how things will shift. And we don't have much control over what will happen as we continue to see and learn that change is our only constant. And these changes, as they shift within us, can feel good at times, quite welcome, and other times we feel a bit resistant. So maybe notice the resistance. Maybe it sits in your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, maybe in your hands or your feet, perhaps in your breath and your breathing and your diaphragm. So to expand into the tension, we breathe deeply in and fully out. Deeply in and fully out. As you allow the breath to move in this fashion through the nose, sealing the lips, you'll bring a warming quality to your physical body. If you add the slight ha sound, the shh in the background of your inhalation, exhalation, the oceanic breath of Ujjayi, you'll start to build the internal heat. This is a great practice for moving into colder weather, to practice moving the breath in a way that brings you that accentuation of fire, of heat, of tapas. It also burns away the stagnation and tamasic energy. As you sit here and breathe, perhaps just shifting the facial expression, though the eyes are closed, by turning the corners of the mouth slightly up, we bring a lightness to our face. It actually takes more energy, more effort, more muscles, but it also brings a lift. There's often times when I sit at the start of practice and I feel like the face is heavy. So bring that lightness and just shift a smile to the face. Even though the eyes are closed, you're smiling within. There's a lightness brought from the internal movement. Bring your hands to greet at your heart center. setting your intention clearly here. A single word, a short phrase, perhaps something the red squirrel has brought to your mind's eye. Now inward, dedicating your practice to someone or something in your life. As you release your hands to your lap, we'll blink the eyes back to open. And we'll take the legs straight out in front. Flex the toes back towards your nose and then open up the heels. Now you can go mat distance or wider than mat distance if that allows. What we want to avoid is letting the feet fall open and the lower back collapse. So we want to sit up tall and keep a connection to the feet. If you want to roll the inner thighs and pull the flesh out of the sit bones, you can do that. A little bend in your knees can be really helpful here. We take this position, so we're going to get into these side body stretches. So we'll start with the left foot bending in like tree position. We're going to turn to face the left knee and take the right arm straight up to the sky. Take the palm like you're waving hello to the back of your head, your skull, and then press the head into your hand. Now your left hand behind you is like a little kickstand, but on your inhalation, I want you to point your elbow to the sky and press down through your left palm and stretch your right ribs open on your breath. And arc a little further on your out. Just 2 more breaths here. So you're feeling like you're putting a lot of weight into that left hand, and we're going to shift out of it. We'll press the head into the hand so that you're opening the chest up. And on the next breath, you'll come all the way back out. The right hand inside the right thigh. You can bend that knee a little here to sit a little taller. And the back of the hand to the inner shin. And your left arm now comes up and catches the back of the skull. Press the head into your hand. Take a breath. Point the elbow to the ceiling as you exhale. And arc the left ribs open. Now you're only going as far as you feel. There's some tension here. Watch that the head might want to fall forward. Keep the eyes up and open. Maybe even turn the gaze subtly towards your left elbow. That gaze turning might be enough to feel a little deeper stretch through the side of your waist or the side of your ribs. Now the right knee can stay bent or it can go straight as long as we're not rounding the lower back. Come all the way back up, left hand comes around, hands come both behind facing forward. Bend your right knee a lot for the start of this, and then lean over your left ankle. As you lean over, now you can start to straighten your right knee, but watch that the lower back doesn't start to pop or the middle back start to pop back. You want to keep that leaning forward. Press out through the heel. Eyes gazing just towards the floor, the edge of your mat. If you want to bring the hands around in front, you can place the palms down for grounding. You might eventually work your forearms down towards the floor. Now we don't want to force to go there because if we do that, we sometimes round or pop that middle back. One more breath. Then slide all the way back up to center. Face your extended leg. Use your left hand to pick up the knee again so that you're creating that lift. Pull your toes towards your nose. They might start to point away. And then reach your navel over the center of your right thigh. Now the first one, let's come all the way back out on the inhale, nice and tall. And then go further in as you exhale. Now this will target the outer left side of your mid-lower back. So feeling there, you might feel your right foot wants to roll open. Try to keep it up at 12 o'clock. You have the option to take your left hand outside your right shin and straighten your right leg more and more. A little bit of pulling of your hand to your shin to your hand. Pull your chest over your knee. Reach with the crown of your head forward. Full breath in. Steady breath out. 2 more. Feel how the navel will pull away on the inhale and then pulls back on the exhale, letting you hinge a little further. And then back up through center. As you come back to center, stretch both legs out, bring the feet together, tap up the legs. I always call these quite simple stretches, but really effective. So we open up, they can be done pretty much anywhere, anytime. Bring your right foot to your inner thigh. Turn to face your bent knee. We turn to face that bent knee. Sometimes we end up lifting that sitting bone, so make sure we roll that anchored hip back. The knee can bend. You could even, if you have tension there, you could put a block or something under the knee. Take your left arm to the sky, palm open, back of the head, catch the hand. And then inhale, point the elbow to the sky. As you exhale, leaning into your right palm. So you're leaning back, your right elbow bends, your right shoulder drops with gravity. Use the breath as your gateway, your access to open the side ribs. And those stretches can be simple, they're not always easy when we're in them. Sometimes I find the simplest stretches are the hardest. We come back up to center, back of the left hand to inside the shin, right arm to the sky. Remember, hand and knee press, palm and head press. So we're opening the chest, and then we're leaning the right elbow to the sky, opening the right rib cage up. Where your eyes look, energy follows. So let the eyes gaze skyward. Even if the head doesn't move, we're lifting that energy up, getting lighter, getting brighter. In these darker days, the days are getting shorter, sadly, we can bring that lift through our breath, through our movements. Come back up through center. Turn to face forward, bend that extended leg. Fingertips around behind to start, sitting tall on your inhale, and leaning over your right shin, that right foot as you exhale. And we'll start with that bent knee, and then we can start to straighten the leg. And as you push through your heel, the heel might slide forward, or the femur might push back into your hip. So if you've got some grip under that heel, you might find it doesn't slide, but you start to create a bit of tension and length. You can bring the hands around in front if that feels better, but keep the chest pulling forward, a little bit of claw into your hands, pull yourself forward and down. Two more breaths here. Notice we're not staying long in any of these stretches, we're just inviting the body open from the inside out. Come back up to center. Turn to face your extended leg. Catch the inner thigh with your right hand. Pick it up. Turn a little further. Think the whole body rotating around. And then navel over the thigh. Exhale. Come all the way out on the first one so you get a little more length. And then going in on your exhale, where you meet resistance, pause. You can straighten the leg more, or take that hand outside the shin and use that bit of traction, that bit of tension to pull your heart over the center of your knee. Notice if your left toes are pointing away, pull them back towards you. Last one here. Come all the way back up to center. Stretch both legs out. Take them in front. Big toes touch, heels a little open. Tap out the legs. We're going to make our way to hands and knees. Sweep the legs one side. On the hands and knees, we'll make some circles with the whole body torso. So we're going to go hips to the left, pull the hips straight back, over the heels, hips to the right, and back up. Keep going for 3 or 4. So your hips are coming back and around and all the way back up. What we're doing here is really lubricating the femur and the hip joint. You might feel little pops or cracks or shifts. We're getting the fluid moving, the muscles starting to lengthen and extend. When you reach the top again between the wrists, pause and go the other way. Hips to the right, back, over the heels, and to the left, and back up. If you've been doing lots of walking or running, this can feel really good in those outer glutes. Two more. As we come through the last one here, we'll tuck the toes under, hips to heels, hands in front of the knees. Simple cat-cow here in a seated position, so we're pulling the chest forward, shoulders back. Now the eyes look up, but try not to lead from your chin. Notice that my voice sounds different. I want to keep the throat really open. The eyes can look up, the chin comes forward. And then as you exhale, pull everything back and round inward. Then inhale, pull forward and up. Exhale, round it out. And the length of your breath is about a 5 to 6 count. Inhale to exhale. One more cycle here, forward and back. Then lift the hips to the sky, forward fold at the back edge of your mat. Let your head fall heavy, catch opposite wrist or elbow if you'd like, or keep the fingertips on the floor. Bend through the knees quite generously to start, and then push your heels outward. The outer pinky toes should feel a little bit of tension, and the inner arch is lifting. Give the head a yes nod, a no shake. And gradually release the hands and ragdoll all the way up to a standing position. So as you're rolling up, take your time. Feel your breath, feel your body. When you reach the top, roll the heads of the arm bones up and back. Sweep the arms up to the sky in your inhale, and catch the tops of your shoulders as you exhale. So your fingertips are just holding the backs of the shoulder blades, and you're attempting to point the elbows straight up towards the ceiling. Steady breath in. Steady breath out. Focus on the breathing here as your gateway to expand those elbows a little higher over time. If it's a lot on the shoulders, the elbows can be wider or down in front, but you're working them higher where you have the space. Again, simple is not always easy. Be kind with yourself, so give yourself the breath that you need to move the energy through. Maybe 3 more breath cycles here. Think 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's one cycle, 2 more. Your last exhalation, You're going to release the hands and let the arms float down by your sides, feeling that fresh flush of blood flow from the heads of the arm bones down into the arms to the fingertips. Now from here, we'll take the arms straight out in front, palms face each other, and all we're going to do is these little machine gun-like arms, or a seesaw with your arms. I'm going to try to keep your torso straight, tall, soft through the knees, push out through the heels, pull your left shoulder back, then your left shoulder forward, your right shoulder back. You're sort of seesawing back and forth. We're getting a bit of movement through the upper arm bones. Might feel a little challenged here. Keep breathing. We're just going straight back to front, back to front. And we're going to change the angle subtly. We're going to turn the palms down. And together, both arms, you're going to roll your shoulders up towards your ears, pull them back behind your ears, and down wide. And then go forward, up, back, and down. You might feel the shoulders click and clack. Take rest where you need to, especially if you have any shoulder injuries. Reach out, pull back, just two more, like little circles. Your arms like little pistons or little, whatever the trains are on the railway, that's sort of what they feel like. And then we'll spin the palms and release the arms down. Deep breath in, steady breath out. Catch your hips with your hands. Step your right foot forward and pivot to the long edge of your mat. Turn the toes out and the heels in. And we'll take our hip circles here. Now the arms are just work, so we want to relax them down, elbows to the side. Bend your left knee. Pull the hips straight back. You can even slide your hands sometimes into that hip crease. And then drive across to the right, straighten the left, and come back up. Good. Nice tall spine, pushing across, pull the hips back, bend, slide, and back up. Full breath. Two more. As you're moving, every now and again, check in with the face, that turning the light up inside. So whether it's physically turning the corners of the mouth up or just lightening the face. Let's switch directions. On the next ones, you'll bend the right, hips straight back, and the left, and all the way up. And right, cross, back up. Two more. Beauty. Now turn your left toes to the parallel edge of your short edge of your mat and your right toes forward. So you're in a short triangle stance in your legs. And tuck your right sitting bone under and shift your heart forward. So again, we're a bit of a side body stretch here, but really we're strengthening the upper side. So think of shortening the upper side and try to lengthen the bottom. Your right hand can stay on your thigh or it can open inside the shin. Left arm can stay hand on hip or reach straight up to the sky. Breathing steady here. Send your mind into your right big toe and your left big toe to stay anchored in your feet. To breathe out of your waist, the crown of the head forward. The eyes can start to turn to the side of the room if you'd like, challenging your balance, or looking all the way up to your left hand to the sky. Two more breaths. Your right knee, if it's locked out, just unlock it just enough. You feel the muscles above and below the knee activate. Then rise all the way back up. Catch your hips. Pivot the right foot, and then pivot the left foot. We're just shifting to the other side, exactly the same. Press the left hip under, right hip over. Start with hands on hips. So the only thing that's shifting to start is your pelvis. Pelvis, like you're pouring the left hip open, the right hip comes up. Keep the right side short, make the left side long. The hand can stay on the hip or open to the inner shin. If the eyes look down to your big toe, think about rolling your ribs more open to the sky. Send your mind into both big toes to anchor. That way you won't feel like you're going to fall backwards. Sometimes that's a feeling we get. We can keep hand on the hip or reach straight up to the sky. Now gravity is wanting to take you down in an arc. Try to keep the spine as long as you can. It's going to work that sideways just a little more. The front knee is slightly bent. The weight in both big toes. Good. Pit of the belly in and up, getting long from your feet. Come all the way back up. Catch your hips. Pivoting the feet again. So feet are parallel. Soften in your knees and pull your hips straight back. As you hinge forward, coming into a wide-legged straddle, bring our fingertips to the floor. So you might need to bend your knees a lot. You can toe heel your feet wider if you've got some space, but make sure the toes are turned in more than the heels. From here, take a moment, a long breath in with that halfway lift, and as you exhale, bend your elbows and let your head just begin to descend. As you let your head go, give it a yes nod and a no shake. Walk your hands between your feet, either on fingertips or palms. Press down into the floor and forward. Feel how your hips lean forward towards your toes. Be mindful here, you don't go too far too fast. You might somersault or fall forward. Play that edge where you feel like you might fall if you let go. You want to maintain a little bit of tension in your hands. Push out through your heels, pull in with your toes. Take 2-3 more breaths here. Walk your hands forward and lift halfway up. Then your halfway lift, come onto your fingertips. Maybe walk your feet closer together if they feel too far now as we come back up, and weight back into your heels till your hands get light. Catch the shins with your palms, arms straight, and start to trace up the fronts of your legs, coming all the way up into a full warrior two. So the arms are going to come up. Your right toes pivot forward, and your arms move front to back. As we extend out through the arms, we sit down into that front knee. This is where the opening of the inner legs, we're trying to open the hips. There's a bit of a dance happening here. We roll our right knee open, but we're also working to pull our left thigh back. That's going to come over time. Keep working the breath in and out a little deeper. We're going to add some movement here. So straighten the leg, look up, reach up, tap the fingertips. And as you exhale, sit back in. Nice and tall. Inhale, stretch the sides of your waist. Exhale, sitting in. Good, again, up. Sitting in. Now at the top of this next one, we're going to pause. Bring your left hand to hold your right wrist and accentuate the right side more open. It's like you're arcing slightly towards the back of the mat. And start to bend your right knee again. So it's this counter action of pulling the arm up, but bending the knee deep. A variation of our goddess or exalted warrior. Breathe here. As you release the hands, recoiling back to center, eyes to the side, straighten the leg, catch the hips, pivot the right foot, pivot the left foot. Sitting into your warrior two. Make sure that knee is over the ankle, not leaning to the back or leaning to the front. We take our gaze over the left fingertips, sit in a little further, spiraling your left knee open, trying to pull your right femur back. Press through your right heel. Now we'll add some fluid movement. Reach up, inhale, stretch straight up, exhale, sitting back in. We inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep going. Inhale up. Exhale, sitting in. Inhale up. And sitting in. As you reach up this one, pause at the top. Right hand holds your left wrist, reaching up and back. So you feel there's a stretch open from your left fingertips to your left toes. And then start to bend your left knee. Keep the knee spiraling open. The eyes can look under your left tricep. Forward, bring that energy, lifting it up. Then float the arms back to warrior two. Straighten the leg, catch the hips, nicely done. Turn the toes to each other. Turn the heels in one at a time. And take a bit more of an external opening in goddess. Hands to hips to start. Sitting back and down. Slide your hands to the tops of your thighs. Now when we do this from the side, it'll feel a little bit like we lean forward. So we'll start there and just open up our shoulders and our mid-back. It can also feel really good if you mentally feel like your tail drops towards the floor. You might feel a nice decompression in your lower back. And then look over your right shoulder and take your left shoulder forward, towards your right foot, I should say. And then come back to center and look over to your left foot, right shoulder forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, the other side. Inhale, center. Other side. I really enjoy this mid-back release, so letting your tail drop, letting the weight fall back into your hips. One more on each side. Yeah, we'll come to stand tall, but keep the feet where they are, reach up. And we'll sit into goddess, and that means we're going to bring our hands to heart to start, but bend the knees in the direction of our toes. See if you can go straight down like a plumb line, ears, shoulders, hips. You might not go as far, that's fine, keep working on it. And then we'll sweep the arms wide, inhale, and then sitting down and through, exhale. You can let the hands cross or bring them through your heart center, reach up, inhale, through, exhale. Inhale, open, exhale through. And we're just working that invitation to the femurs to open out, give the lower back some space. 2 more. Last one, we're going to pause at the bottom, hands at heart. Think about pulling the tail. Get a long monkey tail. You pull it forward between your heels so your shoulders are back over your hips. Good. Come all the way up. Turn your toes in. Turn your heels in. Turn your toes in. Heels in. We'll keep walking the feet till they meet. Give those inner legs a bit of release. Top of the mat, we'll start here. Sweep up, breathe in. Bow forward, breathe out. Halfway lift. And step your right foot back to a lunge position. We'll lower the back knee down. Fingertips come back and the hips come back so the front leg gets straight. Now with this one, our feet work together so they should still maintain that line, and you're pulling in towards center. When we pull in towards center, it helps us find some balance. We might take one hand to heart. We might take the other hand to heart. We might come up a little higher. That tends to be a bit easier. If you've got a block, use it here. So you've got some balance and stability. If you're working that balance stability, yeah, work it. So let there be wobbles, let there be shakes. Lean your heart more and more forward as you pull your tail further and further back. As the tail comes further and further back, fingertips come down. And we're going to walk the right foot in front of your left knee. So it's a little bit different angle, but very similar. And you'll bring your hands to the outside of your right foot or shin. Now that's a far reach. You can have one hand on a block or on your shin, and you're turning your ribs over to the right. So from a front facing, yeah, you've got it. You're sort of angling across. You should start to feel this maybe in the back of your hamstring, maybe more in your outer IT. If you want to work that balance again, you can take one hand and the other so that you're staying light in your upper body. Like reaching just a little further across. Keep the legs where they are, but bring the torso back around. Point your back toes and see if you can slide your hips to sit onto your heel, dragging the foot. The foot can actually come even further to the left side. As it comes to the left side, you're going to flex it, and we're coming towards half pigeon. So as we walk the hands forward, the knees coming behind the wrist. If you need more space, adjust the foot further over till the shin can meet the mat. Now when we're tighter in the hips, the heel comes lower. As we get more open, the foot will come higher. But know that takes time. When we start tall, take a breath, and let's hinge forward till we come onto the palms, forearms, a place where we can rest, but also stay active. Active in our breath. Now with this variation, we're going to play with a little bit of rotation. So we're staying up on the forearms. The left hand comes in front of your shin, so similar angle to your right leg. Right hand outside your right knee, and you're rotating open to the right. You may find this really intense on the right hip, so just take your time. Maybe unwind it, and then coil back over to the right. This can sometimes help align our hips. If we tend to fall to the right, we want to feel as though we're pulling our left hip forward and our right hip back. We'll bring the forearms back to neutral. Stacking elbows right under the shoulders, and like we were doing with the arms, we're just pushing into the floor to expand our mid-back. Pull the elbows towards your shin, and you'll feel a bit of length through your tail, maybe out to that outer hip. Just a couple more breaths here. Start to walk your hands back underneath. Tuck your back toes and find your way either into a tabletop or a downward facing dog. So we're giving that hip a little bit of blood flow, a little stretch out. You walk lots of steps to the top of your mat. Big toes touch, lift halfway, hold it out. Press to rise, coming all the way back up. And let's go all the way back down for the other side. Lift halfway, breathe in. Right foot steps back, breathe out, lower the knee. Fingertips come back, half splits position, Ardha Hanumanasana, but flat foot in this case. With flat foot, we stretch out the ankle, the front of the shin. One hand to heart, maybe working the other. As you're finding that lightness, maybe just through the corners of your mouth, other things are feeling heavy. Maybe getting taller, cushion the knee if you need. Hug in towards center. As you hinge forward, the fingertips will come back down. Bend the front knee just a little and toe heel the foot until it's in front of your right knee. Keep that leg as straight as you can, and then reach across to the outside of your left pinky toe. You might stay here on fingertips. You can switch to knuckles or palms, or bring a block into play. A water bottle, something that gives you some lift so your spine doesn't get too rounded. If we round here, we'll miss that stretch. Think of tipping your tail back. A bit of pelvic tilt. You'll feel more of the back of the leg. As you lean further to the left, you'll feel more of the outer leg. And watch that big toe doesn't want to lift. It will want to roll open. Steady mind, steady breath. All right, let's walk forward, bring the hands around just enough that we're going to slide or point the back toes and slide back, maybe to a seat. Left foot a little further to the right, flexion of the toes coming to your half pigeon, across the mat, the knee comes down. This will also stretch the front of your right hip, nice and tall to start. Bring the foot as high as you can manage to maintain. Let the grip of the mat hold the foot. Bring the forearms down. Breathing here, fully in, fully out. Take note of where the sensation pulls you. It might feel like it pulls you left. You might feel like you're overcompensating and pulling the hip right. Find the center. Right forearm stays down in front of your left shin, left hand in front or outside the knee, and turn open to the left. If this is a lot, go back to just being on the forearms. Your breath expand from the inside out. Get long on the in-breath. Turn a little further on the out-breath. As you come back around onto forearms, pause. Notice gravity pulling the ribs down. Press down into the forearms and pull the ribs up slightly. So you feel there's length in the spine, there's an opening in your mid-back, and more space to breathe in. Pull the elbows towards your knee and your ankle, and lengthen the crown of the head forward. Now start to walk the hands back underneath. Tuck the toes. Slide back into hands and knees or downward dog. A little shift from side to side. Walk the feet forward. Make your way to a seated position. And bring the feet to flat at the top of the mat and roll all the way onto your back. With your hands by your sides, reach down, touch your heels, set your feet for bridge. Press down through the palms, tuck your shoulders, and lift your hips to the sky. Now actively pull your feet towards you. And that doesn't mean lift and step, but pull them like they're gripping on the mat and feel the backs of the legs activate. Option to now interlace your fingers, walk your elbows together, maybe your shoulders further together, and find this bridge opening in front of the chest, in front of the hips, the front of your belly, and creating space to shine that lightness up and open. Press the back of the head gently down so that the front of the throat is open and there's an ease to your breathing. As you pull your heels in, release your hands and release your tail all the way down to the floor. Good. Second round, we can do exactly the same, or if we're practicing towards wheel, the fingertips come up by the ears, elbows to the sky. We've done lots of side opening, a bit of shoulder opening, so you've got space here. Even if just the hands stay here and the shoulders stay down, lift your hips up. You might stay right here. Option to lift onto the crown of your head. Walk your hands in a little further, maybe lifting up off your head. Both arms and legs working to balance together, head relax. Full breath for 3, 2, back of the head, back of the shoulders are down first, and then you release your tail to the mat. Now take the soles of your feet together, your knees open, left hand on your heart, right hand on your belly. Full breath in, and a sigh out. Clearing space. Full breath in, empty it out. We all have the ability to move in and out of any situation, experience. Allow yourself in this experience to move in and move out. So to get out of your own way, your own limitations. Bring your hands outside your knees. Bring your knees together. Walk your feet in. So the feet touch, knees touch. Keep the feet nice and close. And open your arms out to the left and right. If you've got space, straight out. If you don't have the space, cactus the elbows so the shoulders are at, our elbows are at shoulder height. Now pick up your knees, pull them in. And then take your knees over towards your left side, really slowly. Try not to let the knees drop or the hips drop. Gradually place the left knee down, the right knee will come with. Let the ankles relax. And in this rotation, let your right shoulder relax. Steady breath in. Steady breath out. Squeeze your left knee into your right knee. Pick up your feet and bring the knees back through center. Pause. Take a breath in. Squeeze the knees and slowly, with the knees glued together, take them to the right. There might be a point where they start to shimmy apart. Keep them as close as you can until the bottom knee touches down, and then let the feet touch down. Let your left shoulder relax. Breathe fully. Squeeze the knees together, lift the feet off the floor, and then bring the knees back to center. Place your feet flat to the floor, bring your arms down by your sides, and stretch your legs to final resting Shavasana. Head heavy, jaw relaxed, whole body release. Full breath in, sighing breath out. Make any subtle adjustments, wiggle the body, relax the hands, open the teeth, the mouth, the jaw, and then let everything start to settle. If squirrel has scurried into your life, now is a powerful moment to look at the qualities of your actions and preparedness in life. Sometimes in reaction to the pressures of our daily to-dos, we find ourselves running around, doing a whole bunch of activity, but without a real empowerment in our actions. We do 10 things in a rush to get them done instead of doing the 2 on the list that matter most, and doing them with 100% commitment. The message of squirrel is to pause and ask yourself what really needs to be done to make the most impact and leave yourself feeling fulfilled, not scattered and fatigued at the end of the day. What is one thing I can do today that, if done to the very best of my ability, will make the most difference to myself and others? Work hard, but balance times of focus with genuine play and rejuvenation. Even squirrel takes a midday nap. Considering the path to your great visions, it may serve you to bring attention to planning and preparing at this time, to ground yourself in the physical details of what will be required to achieve your dream. Sometimes as dreamers, we avoid this vital step so as not to box ourselves in. But the truth is that when we take simple steps to prepare, we honor the integrity of our vision and create opportunity for real freedom and peace of mind when it matters most. Squirrel also teaches us that even the best plans change and unfold in ways that we can never imagine. Sometimes the nuts we stored yesterday may not be in the same spot today, but in our search we may discover an even better stash. So come prepared, but don't be so hung up on your planning that you become rigid and unable to respond to unforeseen shifts in reality. Squirrel medicine advises not to judge too quickly or scatter your energy in chatter or critical analysis. Take a moment instead to calmly assess the situation and open yourself to perceive and receive the unexpected gifts that are certain to emerge with unforeseen changes. Squirrel's mantra is, with discipline and focus, I build my plan. Honoring the integrity of my vision, with humility and openness, I release the how, trusting the flow of great spirit within. Taking this time of rest to fully release any pre-ideas or judgments or concerns that you may have into the mat. That all will be as it will be, and the only control we have truly is our response. As you bring your breath back to the forefront, movement to your fingers and to your toes. Reawaken that lightness in your face. Reach the arms overhead in a big inhale and a sigh exhale. As you roll onto your right side, take this opportunity to rest for a moment right here on your side. When we roll to the right, it's the side of Shiva, or energy dominant. And to soften into this side is to surrender our need to move too quickly or too abruptly. When you're ready and called to, come back up to a tall seat, feel the side, where your hands come to greet at your heart. Bowing inward to your intention, your dedication, and the commitments you make every time you stand on your mat to yourself and in turn to those around you. And bow to your light. Namaste. Thank you for practicing today.